Now it is time to speak about what is unfolding behind closed doors in America. Many of you have felt that something in Washington has been shifting, that old names, once untouchable, are now trembling. You were right. What we are witnessing is not politics as usual. It is the exposure of corruption woven into the highest levels of power. I can feel it deeply, a reckoning written long ago, now unfolding before the world's eyes. For years, men who claimed to serve the nation hid behind masks of patriotism. Among them stands John Bolton, a figure once honored, now caught within the weight of his own deceit. The accusations surrounding him, hoarding classified information, using secrets for personal gain, are not merely legal troubles. They are spiritual signs that greed has reached its final limit. Power built on betrayal cannot stand forever. When I opened my cards to read this energy, 3 fell from the deck by themselves: the fox, the tower, and the cross. The fox, sly and manipulative, represents the mind that plots from the shadows, the bureaucrat who pretends to protect while feeding on secrets. The tower speaks of the fall of institutions, of pride that rises too high before it collapses. And the cross, it is the symbol of divine justice. It shows that even when men manipulate laws, the higher law of heaven will still prevail. I see the months ahead bringing a chain of exposures in Washington. Bolton's case is not isolated. His fall opens a door that will not close again. Investigations will spread like fire, touching figures who once mocked accountability, men connected to intelligence circles, defense contractors, even diplomats. Their names will surface, one after another. Each revelation will weaken the old guard that used to rule without fear. The same system that persecuted patriots will now devour itself. Those who built careers attacking faith, morality, and truth will taste their own poison. The Department of Justice, long criticized for its political bias, will face a split within its own walls. New prosecutors, tired of manipulation, will begin to leak information that reveals the extent of the cover-ups. I can already sense the tremor of that truth approaching. Bolton's indictment, though public, is only the surface. There are still sealed documents that will link his actions to others who conspired to sabotage a sitting president. Those papers, protected for years, will soon be forced into the light. Not by political will, but by divine timing. Emails, private communications, even notes once believed lost will reappear, shaking alliances that have stood since the Cold War. And what of the White House? I see it under a heavy cloud of tension. The coming year will be marked by resignations and silent departures. Advisors who once felt untouchable will begin to withdraw, fearing that their names will be connected to the old networks of corruption. The deep state that mocked the people's faith will crumble from within. Donald Trump, despite relentless attacks, remains a chosen vessel of exposure. Spiritually, his role is not merely political. He is the mirror through which corruption is reflected and shattered. Every false accusation against him will soon serve as proof of how far the elite went to keep their power. The time when they controlled the narrative is ending. I sense that, by divine design, the American people will witness a restoration of justice that will echo across generations. Those who mocked faith and morality will face the weight of their own blasphemy. Watch carefully. Some who laughed on television, who used their influence to destroy reputations, will find themselves standing before the same courts they once manipulated. There will be tears disguised as apologies, but the energy of truth will not be fooled. The same law that was twisted against patriots will turn back upon their enemies. In the months following the trial, international reactions will emerge. Allies in Europe will quietly distance themselves from the globalist agenda that once bound them to Washington's corruption. France, Italy, and even the United Kingdom will demand new agreements, seeking independence from the financial structures that served American elites. This shift will mark the beginning of the end for the globalist illusion, the idea that a small group can govern the destiny of the entire world. Economically, I see turbulence. Markets will shake as insiders flee exposure. Names linked to defense stocks and intelligence contractors will drop suddenly, as if guided by invisible hands. The fall of Bolton will not end with him. It will trigger investigations into funding, secret contracts, and illegal information exchanges. It will reach the corporate world, the shadow alliance between media, politics, and profit. And yes, even the media will face divine correction. I see major networks forced to retract stories, journalists resigning, executives disappearing from the spotlight. Truth will not be stopped because the energy that moves now is not political, it is sacred. America is entering a period of purification, and that process, though painful, is necessary. The spiritual foundation of this nation, in God we trust, is being reclaimed not by slogans, but by action. The cards also reveal turmoil within the intelligence agencies. The Fox card repeats here, it warns of betrayal among those who once shared the same oath. Some will testify in exchange for protection. Others will flee, some even abroad, trying to escape the reckoning they know is coming. Files once sealed for national security will be released under the justification of transparency. But I tell you, the true reason will be divine intervention. Lies cannot remain hidden when the world prays for truth. There will be shock, there will be loss. But after the storm, a cleansing light will appear. The United States will not collapse. It will rise renewed, humbled but strong. The power structure that used deception as a weapon will lose its grip, and in its place will rise new leaders guided by principle, not fear. These will not be saints, but they will be instruments chosen for a greater correction. The next presidential election cycle will reflect this shift. Those who thought they could manipulate the process will be caught by their own traps. Emails, financial trails, and testimonies will emerge, connecting political operatives to illegal schemes once denied. The public will see it. The mainstream will try to hide it, but independent voices, empowered by faith and conviction, will carry the message far and wide. I feel the presence of the cross in all this, not as punishment, but as purification. Every nation reaches a moment when the veil must be lifted, when the arrogance of its rulers is replaced by humility. America's hour has come. The fall of Bolton is not an isolated scandal. It is the first stone removed from a wall built with deceit. Once that wall begins to crack, nothing can stop the collapse. Expect arrests, not of small figures, but of those who believe themselves beyond the law. Expect revelations that will make history textbooks rewrite entire chapters. Expect a wave of truth that no censorship can contain. And through it all, remember, this is not vengeance, it is reckoning. For years, those in power mocked faith and called it weakness. They weaponized the justice system against believers, conservatives, and patriots. But divine justice does not forget. It waits, and now it acts. The scales are turning, not through violence, but through exposure. Bolton's arrogance, his belief that secrets belong to him, will serve as a warning to all who think they can play God. His trial will be symbolic. One man representing the collapse of a culture of corruption that dominated Washington for decades. And behind the scenes, others will begin to tremble. I see prosecutors gathering evidence quietly, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal names tied to foreign manipulation and domestic treason. The people tired of lies will rise not with violence, but with clarity. Faith communities will become centers of strength again. Young Americans disillusioned by hypocrisy will return to belief. Not blind faith, but a conscious understanding that morality is freedom's foundation, and that, my dear ones, is how divine justice restores a nation, not with fire and fury, but with truth and conviction. So, to those who still doubt, I say this: the time of deceit is ending. The age of revelation has begun. Curse or blessing, that depends on the heart of each man. Those who serve the truth will stand. Those who sold it will fall. Like, share, and comment below. Divine justice is acting.